Ooh, okay, so fast forward. I am inside now. It's part two. It's part two. It is 9:05 p.m. It is still the 6th of July, 2016. Um, yeah, it's still Wednesday. But really, what I was talking about, I think it's Romans. That's what it is in the Bible. Excuse me. Because a pastor, I think it was David. Actually, yeah, it was David. David Platt. He was talking about this homosexuality in the Bible, and he was talking about Romans. I think it's chapter 1. I think he's talking about Paul. I think. Oh, I may be getting this mixed up, but Paul was writing about his basically his view of the city of what was it? He was in a certain city in the Bible. I don't know. He was writing about the overview and how it wasn't in the placement of God and all this stuff. And anyway, yes, he's talking about basically how this is Paul's writings. Apparently, God gave their minds over, right, and let them become foolish. They thought they were wise, but indeed they were fools, something like that. He gave their hearts. I mean, he gave their hearts over to sin and gave their mind over to their wicked ways and let them, basically, he just let them drown in their own sin and their own wickedness and their own foolishness and their own desires. Whenever apparently the men would try to ask for God to help them or take this or that away, whatever it was that was hurting them or making them feel bad or whatever. And it reminded me, actually, see, I didn't know about that verse or anything like that, really. Nothing too in depth. I had like the general overview of some biblical stories when I was younger. But anyway, yeah, it's just ironic that there I was as a little kid doing the same thing, asking him to take this away. I mean, maybe this is a test. Maybe, because maybe this is a test to see if I can really go with him and not go with my own ways of doing things. Maybe this is God testing me or something. But yeah, it brings back a flashback. Anyway, I did run out of memory, so that's why I also had to, um, you know, that's why also the video stopped. But it just stopped. But I mean, I'm curious. Like I said, I'm thinking about other things I never thought I'd be thinking of as far as my life and whatever. And it's like, if I am going to ugh, if I am going to somehow, like I said, it's not like a snap of my fingers, right? I feel like it's gonna take time, and that's what I'm actually doing. I've changed my mind already, right? Several times, like I didn't mean to, but some things, feelings would start to happen to me, and blah blah blah, and eventually I'd end up one place, and I wouldn't mind, it'd be okay, but then I wouldn't be happy. I still wasn't happy, and that's actually what I was laughing about earlier. Because I'm like, I got to this place, and then I evolved further, and got further, maybe taken a few steps back, and then continued in whatever it was that I was doing, and then I realized I still wasn't happy with that, or that isn't right for me. It's not even the fact about, oh, I'm not happy, I think I'm just going to do something else now. No, it's not that stupid, it's not that wimpy. Because I'm not a fool, I'm not. I'm not an idiot. I'm not just doing things just to do them. If anything, it's just the response to what's really going on. And again, the roots of things. The roots are very important. You know, you have to ask what's really going on and why it is, not just I guess it's just whatever. No, I had some people tell me that's what it was, and I was just being stupid. But no, it's not that at all. You know, it really shows where you and those people stand, right? And they just try to act like you're just being stupid or it's just ridiculousness when you come to these people in times of help. But No, they rather just make fun of you or something. Or say, you're going to hell, you're a sinner or something like that, and send you on, or give you a Bible and tell you to read. What is that going to do? What do you want me to do with this? Especially when you have someone who has never come from that placement, that kind of background, even depending on the Bible in any kind of way before. So how do you expect just to throw verses at them and suddenly you're going to change? No. You see? If anything, you're just going to confuse them even more, and they're going to feel like they don't have much to turn to already. I've already talked about that. I just know that I'm thinking differently now, as far as I've been thinking about my life here and there about what it would be like with a man, with an actual man, not these little boys of today. And but again, like I said, I don't even know how that's supposed to go because of my own background, right? My own background and past. Well, actually, let me talk about something else. Something else. Yeah, something else. Well, okay, I lost my train of thought. I'm changing my mind because I realize, even like with my dysphoria, like, it doesn't matter how much I do, like, with my body to try to make it fit me. If there are things that in my mind are off and disconnected, it doesn't matter what I do, my body, I'm always going to end up being stuck, and I'm always going to feel miserable. And inevitably, whether it's because I'm not comfortable enough in my manhood, or I'm not comfortable enough in my womanhood, inevitably, I'm going to feel out of place, I'm going to feel out of touch, and I'm going to want to kill myself again. And when you have no one to turn to in those times, because no one really wants to talk about that, right? People think it's stupid to have questions about things like womanhood and manhood, and I feel like people, especially growing up, it was assumed that I should just take the role. I should just know. I should just already be comfortable in certain things. But how do you even... I'm having a bit of a hard time explaining manhood and womanhood. So how are you just supposed to tell a child to take it as it is and go on? Especially when that child comes to you and says, I'm confused. What does this mean? Why do boys have to do this? Why do girls have to do this? Besides just, because I said so, or because that's the way it is. Huh? I mean, why does it work? What's the interlocking? And what is family? How do you come together? How is it supposed to work? Like, I mean, you have little kids coming up to you asking you about shapes and colors and why the sky is blue. You tell them why it is blue according to your understanding, and they ask, well, why? Well, you tell them because da 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 da. They ask why, right? There's this constant why. Like, I mean, whether as a child or even as a grown up, I mean, it's not that weird to want to understand things, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not that weird to not even... I don't know. Like I said, I kind of caught early on. I wasn't like everyone else growing up, because I caught a lot of things. And again, right now I'm thinking of Jackie Hill Perry. She said she remembers when she was younger. She remembers like questioning gender roles. She remembers questioning men and women and why they did the things they did and why, and placements. And that's exactly what I did too. Like, I would see things, I was like, I would think, why does it have to be like this? Or why is it always like this? Like, how do these things come together? How does it work? And why do they have to only, why does this sex only have to do these things? And why is it better for this sex to do these things? But it was in a way that, for me, you can't just tell me, because men are stronger. That doesn't solve the problem, you see, because again, like I said, it's kind of like a little kid complex, I guess, whether you actually are a kid or whether you're an adult. There's like this constant why. And again, it's kind of like throwing the Bible at someone when they don't come from a certain placement of even depending on that, right? Now, everything that I've been looking up and what I've been understanding on my own, now if you tell me things like that, right, because it works better, or even if someone were to go deeper, because men come together like this and women come together like this, and this is how the system works, and this is why it's good, right, for the family as a whole. Now I would understand versus a couple of years ago, I would just push it off. I would see it as offensive. I wouldn't understand. And I guess it even goes like your heart has to be in it a little bit too. My heart's in it. Now, that's why that's why I continue. Um, that's why I can. Oh, sorry, I'm finding something. That's why I continue to. I'm sorry. That's why I continue to like research and everything like that and dig into other perspectives because it really helps. I certainly didn't get this when I was a kid, so and I guess it does help that I'm older now because I've experienced more and I get to see more. Yeah, your heart has to be in it a little bit, you know. Otherwise, I don't know. It's kind of like when people talk about when they're sitting in church, and I'm sure it would probably still be the same for me. Maybe I guess it depends on like what they're saying, but sometimes you just hear stuff and it doesn't hit you, you know. It has to hit you to your core. It has to have some kind of relation to you, not just I don't just want to say like maybe in regards to like your situation, right? If someone's talking about, oh, I'm struggling with money, okay, maybe you're struggling with money too a little bit, but see, it has to hit a certain core of you too. Like there has to be a certain there has to be a certain limit that's reached within you too, a level or whatever I guess I should say. That's reached within you to actually open your ears up, open up your eyes, and actually open up your heart a little bit and say, hey, this guy has a point, you know, or maybe they're on to something, right? You know, it takes a little bit more than just hearing the words. And I think even Jackie herself said that, right? Like Jackie Hill Perry, she would hear the words, but you know, and I can say this too. It's like, oh, okay, you know, okay, it's a sin. This is a sin, okay, and I just toss her like my head because it's kind of the same thing like when adults they would tell you as like a little kid, you know, someday you're gonna someday this is gonna happen to you, or someday you're gonna wish, you're gonna look back and you're gonna wish that you could have had, recess, or someday you're gonna wish that you're able to take naps again in the middle of the day, and I don't get to do that, and da da da, and I'm an adult. You hear that as like a kid, it's like I'm not saying you're being rude, you listen, and you're being nice, and you generally kind of care about it, but see, it doesn't hit you because I mean you're a little kid, you're up in the air, you're wearing about animal crackers and overalls and kickball and stuff. I mean, what does it really matter to you? You're listening, but it kind of goes over your head because it hasn't hit you yet, and it's not for a while. I'd say if you're a kid, but anyway, I'm just saying I'm starting to realize that now. And because I'm starting to realize things I'm realizing about men and women and the structure of family and how it's good, and even biblically how it was meant to be good, well, that has changed my thinking a little bit, and it's got me thinking about certain things that I didn't think I'd ever think of as far as my future, and where I want to take it, where I'm willing to take it. And I guess I'm going to actually say this because the main question that I did ask, I remember what it was, but really, what is it that like you get out of them, like women? What is it that like you get out of men? I don't see it. And I understand, I've already said like there are a lot of things working against both sexes of today to really fully take their placement of their roles, their full positions of roles because, um, yeah, their home life background. I can't even identify with a lot of this, like their home life background. I guess influences around them. So kind of like, what is it? Nature versus nurture, right? A little bit. But other things too, I guess, things that affect them and things that hit them personally. Because I was looking at this other video and he was talking about relationships and manhood and womanhood and things like that, and he did bring in homosexuality eventually. But anyway, he basically was talking about we've done a bad job in the church with homosexuality. When these people are coming to you and they're actually struggling with this, especially the ones who actually come to you and they say, listen, my brother, my sister, please help me. I'm struggling with this. I struggle with same-sex attraction or whatever. Like, and you shun them, or you just say, you're a sinner and you're sick or you're wicked or you're a pedophile or whatever. What does that do for them? Because they come to you and then you shun them, right? And there's a difference between, like I said, there's a difference between getting your point across, right? And being a jerk about it. There's a difference between actually trying to help someone and then just actually being too aggressive and pushing them away, right? I mean, how many times has that happened to you? Like, maybe that's common. Like, I hear what car salesmen or whatever, right? When they're, come on, buy, 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 buy it now, come on, buy it. You know, it's like, easy. Can you get out of my face thing? Like, it kind of pulls you away from them. You don't want all that. You don't want this thing in your face. That's kind of how it is. And I've come, also, I realize who wants to be told how bad they are, how sick they are, how nasty they are. Dang, I didn't even know. I didn't know I was that bad. Dang, now I hate myself. You know, that's kind of how it is. Like, yeah, I come away from the conversation. I've had this plenty of times, right? People that I love and I trust, I come to the conversation, and then when I leave, only like 2 minutes after of a conversation, right, it turns into a lecture. It turns into them telling me how bad I am or things I need to do to correct myself when I haven't even told them everything that I'm struggling with, right? I walk away more confused and more hurt than I was when before I even came to them. And that's not, oh, you just have a big ego, you just don't want to hear the truth. No, like, so there's a way of getting across, that isn't, well, pushing this in your face, and also that's not just coming off as I'm bigger than you, and I'm more successful than you, and I've got more than you, I'm more well together than you, and also, you are so messed up, you're so sick, you need to get it together, you're so stupid, you're so foolish. Even though you may not say those exact words, you understand when these people exactly come to you. And he got into basically the pastor, we all have stuff. We're all brought into this world with stuff. Stuff meaning sin. We're all open for sin, of course. And he even said, and all of you will sit here and nod your head, oh yeah, of course, Pastor, this wasn't David Platt, he was some other pastor, I don't remember, but he was like, okay, all of you will sit here and nod your head, oh yeah, Pastor, yeah, I know, I'm not without sin. But see, some of those people, that is their direct, that is the thing that directly hits them the most, that actually directly targets them the most, that's the thing that affects them the heaviest in life. I'd say that weighs more on them than maybe gluttony, than their pride. We all have stuff. Some of it just have more than this versus the other. We're all open to it, of course, you see, but we're all brought into the world open to stuff, and some of us have more stuff, more baggage, more opportunities for sin, than others, right? And someone's like, yeah, okay, I get it. No, until you've been there. What is it? You think you know, but you have no idea. And that's what I a couple of times when I would go to people, right? Because I actually trusted them, and I whatever. I try to get it across to them. Look, I'm having a hard time, and I'm hurting myself. I don't want to hurt myself, and I don't like myself, and I don't know what to do. I have people telling me it's so easy to do this or to stop thinking like this. My friends, the couple that I had, the few that I had, I'll go to them, and they didn't understand. It was just up in the air to them, and I get it, right? They're never gonna understand. The few people that I came to, but it wasn't even just that. That's not where the disconnect was. Just that, they're them and I'm me. Some of them literally pushed me away. Some of the closest people that I went to. And that hurt a lot. But again, I just had to, like I said, I left the conversation more hurt than I first came. And I couldn't say anything about it either. I had to take that on top of everything that I already came to them with. How are you going to tell someone who's hurting and who's struggling, well, you just need to get right? Well, I don't know what to tell you. No. Fine. If you don't know how to handle this, because honestly, look, I came elsewhere to try to get some sort of a ease or different perspective of my problem. I understand that. So I can't blame you if you don't know what to do. I appreciate you taking the time of sitting here and kind of helping me or whatever, saying whatever you said, whether it helped or not. I appreciate you sitting here and at least working out with me. If you don't know, you don't know. I mean, hey, I came to you, so obviously even I don't know, right, about my own problem. But when I come to you and then you just, this is what he was talking